Chapter 411, A True God. Yi Shu passed the third test with ease. This was something that didn't surprise Chen Guo. Soloing a level 70 hidden boss sounded too excessive even as a test to enter the heavenly domain. If it really was as difficult as it sounded, the heavenly domain would be a dead server. The Midnight Phantom Cat really was a level 70 hidden boss and had the strength and power of a level 70 hidden boss. The only thing it didn't have was a boss's health. Health was a boss's greatest advantage. A boss without a second bar behind its first health bar could hardly be considered a boss. The Midnight Phantom Cat of the third test was this type of boss. His health value couldn't be put together with the other bosses. The level 50 Lord Grimm had a 20 level suppression facing the level 70 monster. Who knew how many times weaker his attacks and skill effects were? In the end, Yi Shu still defeated it quickly. The cat rarely had the chance to hit back before becoming a corpse. The corpse became a quest item and was thrown into Yi Shu's inventory. The third test was complete. Yi Shu was as calm as ever, while Chen Guo was indescribably excited. Seeing Yi Shu roll through the heavenly domain challenge that gave other players headaches trying to beat it made Chen Guo feel delighted. It was like if she had been bullied by some big kid for a long time and then someone else came and beat the kid up in one punch. It was such a thrilling feeling of justice. If it wasn't just the two of them and clapping wildly would look stupid, Chen Guo would have already started clapping. The fourth test, Chen Guo urged Yi Shu to hurry up. The fourth test was given just before leaving the beginner village. The quest was a delivery. The fourth test was set up along the delivery route and took place along a narrow, rugged mountain road. On both sides were bottomless abysses. If the character fell, the character would die. This test tested the player's ability to move precisely. For this test, Chen Guo had moved one step at a time, slowly crawling forward. Even with this, she had fallen to her death countless times. Chen Guo was confident that Yi Shu would beat it in a few minutes again. But the way he passed it was even more astonishing than what Chen Guo had imagined. On such a narrow and rugged path, one slight misstep would cause the player to miss the road and fall. Yi Shu actually had the nerves to use aerial fire. Chen Guo couldn't even imagine how it was possible to use aerial fire so precisely. Every landing he made was completely on point. Speaking of this, Yi Shu had played as a battle mage. Why was he so skilled at using gunner techniques? Chen Guo didn't doubt that Yi Shu was proficient with every class, but having such proficiency was a bit too much. No, Chen Guo felt like even a pro gunner might not have the confidence to use aerial fire to move along this road. In addition, he flew forward without ever stopping. It has to be known that this scenario was just like the first scenario in that the road was created at random. The curves along the road were different for everyone. So not only was it impossible to use a guide, it wasn't possible to practice along the same road. It completely depended on how proficient the player was at using aerial fire. Chen Guo stared at Yi Shu inconceivably. She had thought that she wouldn't look at the god this way ever again. She had thought that she understood just how great the god was. Now from the looks of it, his skill seemed bottomless. When the fourth test was passed, Chen Guo was completely speechless. Yi Shu also let out a sigh of relief. He got up, went to get a drink of water, and lit up a cigarette. After walking around and finished smoking, he returned to his seat. "Let me try a test," Chen Guo asked Yi Shu. She suddenly had the urge to do one. "Go ahead," Yi Shu didn't mind. As a result, Chen Guo switched to Yi Shu's computer and began controlling Lord Grimm. For the Heavenly Domain Challenge, many players repeated every test many times before eventually passing it, so they all had a deep impression of it. Chen Guo didn't need any reminders. Her memory of the entire quest chain was excellent and she quickly received the fifth test. The content for this test wasn't a battle. Chen Guo didn't think that she was good enough to beat a level 70 opponent with just a level 50 character. If she had that type of skill, she wouldn't have thought that completing the Heavenly Domain Challenge at level 50 was inconceivable. This inconceivability was mostly towards the battles. The running and jumping wasn't any different for a level 50 and a level 70 character. The fifth test was another one that tested the player's technical skills. This time, the main technique that would be tested was rolling. Many of the obstacles in the scenario were too high to directly walk past. Crouching and walking was too slow. Lying down and crawling was even slower, so it could only be done with rolling. This test shared the same design as the previous one. The player couldn't miss a single one. For this test, if the rolling wasn't timed correctly, such as if the player hit the obstacle, the player would immediately be killed and would have to start again. At that time, Chen Guo had passed this test by herself. Yi Shu passing the past 4 tests in one try made him look so mighty and powerful. She also wanted to try and see if she could show such might herself. Reality proved that this wasn't a possibility. Even though Chen Guo had passed the tests before, it was clear that Yi Shu had passed these tests entirely relying on his skill, while normal players partially relied on luck. They didn't completely pass through with ease. They had gotten through a few parts by coincidence. If they tried again, unless their mechanics had actually improved, they could only pray that they were lucky again. As for Chen Guo, not only was she unlucky, her condition wasn't great either. Staying up all night wasn't one of her strengths. It was already late at night and she was already tired. Apart from that, Yi Shu was watching on the side too, so she was also a bit nervous. Don't look, Chen Guo turned her head. When was I looking? Yi Shu asked back. Chen Guo was speechless. Yi Shu really hadn't been looking. He was playing on her chasing haze. Suddenly, Chen Guo felt like she wanted Yi Shu to look. But she had just said, don't look, so changing her mind was a bit embarrassing. She could only try again. Failed. 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 Chen Guo continued to fail. She had gotten through only 6 obstacles on her best run. Chen Guo stole a glance at Yi Shu, who was playing quite happily on her chasing haze account. He really wasn't paying attention at all. Chen Guo continued to try and continue to fail. In the end, she wasn't able to take it anymore. Hey, Chen Guo shouted. You're done? Yi Shu turned his head to ask. Chen Guo cried, I couldn't pass it. Then let me try. Yi Shu and Chen Guo switched seats. After 2.5 minutes, Lord Grimm exited the scenario. Chen Guo only hated how she didn't have the Sharingan and couldn't copy Yi Shu's gaming skill. Do you want to try the next one? Yi Shu showed his care for Chen Guo. I'm going to sleep. Chen Guo got up and decided that she wouldn't anger herself. You're going to sleep? Yi Shu looked at the time. Is the internet cafe opening today? Yes. When? Yi Shu asked. At noon, Chen Guo said. Because the internet cafe didn't have many customers in the morning anyways, Chen Guo didn't force her employees to wake up early and hurry over to work after the break. As a result, she decided to open up the business again at noon. Are you going to be able to get up at noon? Do you need me to stay until noon to open up the doors? Yi Shu asked. No need. Okay, Yi Shu nodded his head and continued to play the game. Chen Guo began to hesitate again. In reality, she wanted to watch Yi Shu do the Heavenly Domain Challenge. Seeing the god crush the missions that gave normal players an unbearably difficult time was very exciting. She had decided to sleep because she had been somewhat upset, but now she felt like it would be a waste to sleep and it would be better to keep watching. But Yi Shu reminded her that they had to start the business at noon. This was a big issue for her. Business would always be there, but there was only one chance to see Yi Shu do these quests. In the end, Chen Guo persuaded herself with this reasoning and came back to watch. Seeing Yi Shu look at her incredulously, Chen Guo glared at him. What are you looking at? I don't feel like sleeping, is that not okay? Then what do you want to do? Yi Shu asked. Watch you do the quests, Chen Guo said before noticing that Yi Shu had logged out of the game. On his screen was a video of a glory match. Huh? Why aren't you doing the quests? Chen Guo asked. There's no hurry, Yi Shu said, there's plenty of time to do it. What video are you watching? Chen Guo was curious. After looking at it for a moment, she was surprised. Wasn't that tonight's match between Tyranny and Excellent Era? Yeah. Team competition? Didn't you already see it? Chen Guo was puzzled. I want to study it again, Yi Shu said. This was another difference between a casual and a professional. A casual would see it once and be done. A professional would see each match as a material to study, observing the opponents and studying them. Even though Yi Shu wasn't in the Pro Alliance right now, he still did this. Tell me what there is to see in this match, Chen Guo said. Are you sure? With your aptitude. What are you saying? Chen Guo was unable to restrain her anger. It's like this. See, last night, Li Yibo said that the diagonal charge forward by Han Wenking's Desert Dust was when Tyranny began reaping gains from their tactics. That actually isn't correct, Yi Shu said. MMHM, Chen Guo nodded his head. What are you MMHing for? You don't actually remember, do you? Yi Shu asked. I remember, Chen Guo shouted. She didn't have any way to prove she did, so she could only use her voice as justification. Okay, that's good. Then look. In reality, Tyranny began holding the advantage from here. See a movable rock's position? Do you see it? Zhang Jiaxi's a movable rock, Chen Guo nodded her head. I asked if you see his position. I saw it. Then what does this position tell you? Isn't that what you're supposed to be explaining? You can't think about it for yourself? With my aptitude, Chen Guo darkened. Oh, that's right, Yi Shu said with a face that implied, I know. Chapter 412, Team Secret. The stifled Chen Guo still watched the match between Tyranny and Excellent Era again with Yi Shu. This time, she wasn't watching for fun nor was she enjoying the atmosphere with other passionate fans. This time, she was appreciating the match and studying it. Yi Shu explained the reasoning behind the position of Zhang Jinji's immovable rock in detail. Chen Guo suddenly felt like a new world had opened before her. When they watched, they didn't watch it all the way through to the end in one breath. Yi Shu often paused during several moments and rewound to watch it again, looking at the scene from a different viewpoint. Only then did Chen Guo realize that Yi Shu wasn't watching the direct VOD of the broadcasted match, but the VOD uploaded after the match onto the game's spectating interface. The spectating interface was the same as the one in the arena. By using the spectating features in Glory, the viewpoint could be switched freely. If one were to study a match, these features were necessary. However, this type of VOD would have to be downloaded. The size of the file wasn't small either. As soon as Chen Guo had left, Yi Shu had begun watching it. This meant that he had downloaded the file much earlier. He had planned on studying the match beforehand. It wasn't something he had done on a whim. He really deserves to be called a professional. Chen Guo quietly thought. Her mind sometimes wandered off. This was because in some of the places where Yi Shu rewound, he didn't say anything. Chen Guo watched on the side, but had no idea what she was supposed to be looking for. Seeing Yi Shu look so serious, she felt bad bothering him, so she thought about other things. When Yi Shu finished watching a section, he would sometimes explain what he analyzed to Chen Guo, but sometimes he wouldn't say anything and just continue on. Chen Guo didn't say too much. She listened when Yi Shu explained and didn't ask when Yi Shu didn't say anything. And just like this, Yi Shu took an hour to finish watching the 24-minute match from beginning to end. He wasn't done either. After watching the conclusion, he went back to several moments and watched those again. Chen Guo was feeling many different emotions right now. She had originally thought that she was quite familiar with Glory and felt that the only difference between her and a pro player was in mechanics. But after hearing Yi Shu analyze the match in such detail, Chen Guo deeply felt that her original thoughts were too simple. She suddenly thought of when Yi Shu said to Tang Ru, "If you want to surpass me, then you have to at least know how large the gap between us is." Chen Guo discovered that these words applied to her too. It would be applicable to many Glory veterans. The difference between players who played for fun and professionals who played for a living was unimaginable. Okay, that's enough, Yi Shu nodded his head after re-watching several details. You're done studying it? Chen Guo asked. Pretty much, Yi Shu said. He created a Word document and titled it Tyranny vs. Excellent Era. Then, he added the date in parentheses and wrote down a few things. Chen Guo watched for a bit and saw that he was doing a summary of the match. Yi Shu also wrote down some of the things he had explained to Chen Guo. Chen Guo learned that being a pro player was much more difficult than she had imagined. Pros didn't just play the game all day to practice and then go on stage for the match when the time came. Chen Guo accompanied him without saying a word. After Yishu finished writing what he wanted on the Word document, he saved it. Then, he clicked on the folder where he would put it in. The folder astonished Chen Guo. There were countless documents inside with the team names and their match dates. These. The matches from the past 2 months, Yishu said. You watched all of them? Not all of them, Yishu said. Can I look at them? Chen Guo asked. Sure, Yishu let her sit in his seat. Chen Guo sat down and clicked on a few of the documents in the folder. They were just like the one Yishu had just completed. In these documents were details he had analyzed from the matches, from tactics to movements, even what the players might have been thinking at that moment. This really is too. Chen Guo couldn't find the right words to express what she was feeling. It's nothing. It's a job, Yishu said. Is there anything I can do to help? Chen Guo realized how difficult being a pro was. If they really were going to form a team, then Yishu would only have more work to do. Chen Guo hoped that she could help share the responsibility. Later, when there's more, you can help me organize them. Organizing, while learning from them. When your skill level is higher, you can try do some analysis, Yishu said. I'm not good enough, Chen Guo immediately said. Not now obviously. I'm saying that if you really want to learn, doing this sort of thing will be helpful, Yishu said. Then I'll give it a try. Chen Guo was very confident in herself. It was just that in Glory, she didn't have much confidence when compared to Yishu. It's late already. Go take a rest. You still have to open up the cafe at noon, Yishu said. I'll go to sleep. What about you? I'm going to rest for a bit too, Yishu said. He looked a bit tired. In Chen Guo's eyes, as long as he was playing Glory, he would always be full of energy. Did anything unusual happen today? He had done a few of the heavenly domain tests and analyzed a match. From the looks of things, these were quite a bit more tiring than leveling up. After the two cleaned up, they both went to sleep. They naturally slept until noon. When Yishu woke up, Chen Guo was already gone. He tidied up his room and went downstairs. The internet cafe had already opened up. Business was slow in the afternoon, so it wasn't too busy. When Yishu came down, the employees who had just come back from a long vacation greeted Yishu. Yishu looked around and saw Chen Guo was at their computer stations, telling someone to do something. Yishu recognized this person. He was a computer repair technician. He wasn't usually around at the internet cafe and was called over whenever there was a problem with a computer. What's wrong with the computers? Yishu asked. I'm planning on running a network cable that's separate from the server network to the computer, Chen Guo said. Why? Yishu didn't understand. Because these computers contain information gathered up by our team. We can't be careless, Chen Guo explained. Are you joking? Yishu wasn't sure. Of course not. Only this computer has your documents downloaded onto it. I've just added a password to it too. I'll tell it to you in a bit, Chen Guo whispered. Aren't you being a bit excessive? Yishu also whispered. This is an internet cafe, after all. It's not like your former club, so we have to be more careful. Chen Guo cautiously glanced around as if right now, the ones sitting at the internet cafe weren't customers, but spies looking for secret information. Oh, so it's like that, Yishu nodded his head. He didn't say anything more. Chen Guo's actions were quite reasonable. The teams in the Pro Alliance considered their equipment, strategies, tactics, and analysis of opponents as secrets. They wouldn't be revealed so easily. Even though their team happy only existed in words, it wasn't bad to prepare. Is little Tang coming back today? Yishu watched technician tinker with the computer, while saying to Chen Guo. She called me today and she said that she'd be back tomorrow, Chen Guo said. She's been playing quite a lot these past few days, Yishu said. Yeah. You guys have taken advantage of the Spring Festival event, Chen Guo said. During the Spring Festival, it couldn't be said that there weren't many players online, but there truly weren't many elites from the top guilds that were online. It wasn't hard to explain this. For normal players, when they had a break, they would take some time to play and have some fun. It was very normal. But for the guild elites, the game was their work, so during the spring festival, they wouldn't play games during vacation. As a result, Yi Shu, Su Mucheng, and Tang Ru could be considered as having been online for a long time. The rewards from the Spring Festival were good, and after the 7 days of break ended, the three were the top 3 players on the 10th server level standings. Yi Shu's Lord Grim was placed first. He was already level 50. Next was Tang Ru's Soft Mist and then Su Mucheng's Cleansing Mist. Both were level 49, but their experience bars were at different stages. Are these 3 characters going to be our team members in the future? Chen Guo asked. She was considering the idea of a team more and more seriously now. I hope so, Yi Shu said. Which one of them aren't you too certain about? Chen Guo asked. Little Tang, Yi Shu said. So you're saying Miu Miu will definitely join us? Chen Guo began growing excited. I think she'd be quite happy with that, Yi Shu said. Little Tang. I'll have a chat with her when there's a chance to, Chen Guo said. Yi Shu nodded his head. That's only 3 people though. It won't be enough, Chen Guo said. We'll take it slowly, Yi Shu said. Are there enough of these types of characters? Players need time to improve. Characters also need time to grow stronger. If we're just looking at these right now, there are too many things that we don't have enough. We don't even have enough players, Yi Shu said. Is a year and half enough time? Chen Guo said. Starting a team from scratch is something I have experience with, Yi Shu smiled. Tell me your plan, Chen Guo said. Our current problem is that we're lacking players. There are 2 ways to find players. One way is to search for talent yourself and train them. The second way is to look for already matured players from other teams. The second way can't be accomplished before we enter the alliance, so let's start with those around us first. Speaking of this, you've been playing Glory for a while and you've been managing the internet cafe for so long. Is there anyone you know that you feel is pretty good? Yi Shu asked Chen Guo. Chapter 413, Spectator. Yi Shu used his position to ask Chen Guo if she had any recommendations. Chen Guo had been managing the internet cafe and playing Glory for many years. Playing the game also made it easier for her to get along with the customers. During these 2 months, Yi Shu had noticed that all sorts of people acted very familiar with her. They were only internet cafe customers and Glory players too. Among these, were there any experts, beginners, or players with talent? Yi Shu would sometimes take a glance at other customers playing Glory when he had nothing to do, but he didn't see anything particularly noteworthy. However, Chen Guo definitely knew more about this than he did. Unfortunately, most of these people were Excellent Era fans. After Chen Guo refused to project Excellent Era's match that day, she had offended many of them. In the end, the relationship between the 2 sides was simply that they recognized each other. Neither sides really had any mutual feelings for each other and could turn hostile faster than one could flip a page. I really haven't discovered any. Even if there were, it's already too late, Chen Guo replied. Why? We're right next to Team Excellent Era, so even if there were talents, they would have already tried getting into Team Excellent Era. Why would they wait for you to find them? Chen Guo said. Are you reliable? Yi Shu asked. If I'm not reliable, why would you ask me? Chen Guo didn't reply nicely. Are there any plausible ones? Let me evaluate them myself, Yi Shu said. As if. All of the people I know are at my level at best, Chen Guo said. Yi Shu sighed helplessly. It looks like asking you won't get me anywhere. What do you mean? How else did Little Tang come about? Chen Guo said. Oh, that. Yi Shu had made a mistake. He just realized that he had already found one talent through Chen Guo. Tang Ru was a talent that Wang Jiaxi had tried to pull into the team. For Yi Shu to happen to bump into a talent like this in an internet cafe was already very lucky of him. Glory had tens of millions of players and there were only a few hundred pro players. Talent could only be found by chance and not by searching for it. When will the computer be done? Because talent could only be found by chance, there was no point thinking about it too much, so Yishu could only concern himself with what was in front of him. It'll be done soon, Chen Guo said. Just as she finished saying this, the computer technician stood up and patted the computer. It's done. Go test it out, Chen Guo told Yishu to go. Yishu tried out Glory. He logged into the game. Everything went smoothly like normal, so he nodded his head. Chen Guo went over and told him where she put the folder with all of his research documents and then whispered to him the password. With the way she was acting, it looked like the two of them were hackers conspiring something bad. Okay, I got it, Yishu nodded his head. Immediately afterwards, Chen Guo sent off the technician. This type of service obviously wasn't free. After doing his work, the technician waited for Chen Guo to pay him. Yishu really didn't feel anything different when he used the computer. He had Lord Grimm continue doing the Heavenly Domain Challenge. On the road, he checked the level standings and found that he was still the only one who had reached level 50. He sighed and closed it. Chen Guo immediately ran back after paying the technician. She knew that for Yishu's Lord Grimm, besides doing the Heavenly Domain Challenge, there wasn't anything else to do. A level 50 unspecialized player wouldn't be able to gain any more experience whether he dungeoned, quested, or killed wild monsters. When she went over and looked, Yishu was doing the challenge, just as she expected. Yesterday, he had passed 5 tests. His efficiency made Chen Guo sigh in admiration. Before Yishu came, in Happy Internet Cafe, passing 2 tests in a single day was enough to brag. For the Heavenly Domain Challenge, many players glared at their computer screens with red eyes and wanted to smash their computers in frustration. Some studios offered services to complete the Heavenly Domain Challenge and earned quite a profit that way. But these studios couldn't complete the challenge with ease either. Even they had the urge to smash their computers sometimes as they did their business. In the early days, the Heavenly Domain was truly a gathering of elite players. But nowadays, more and more players were able to enter the Heavenly Domain by luck or other methods. Regardless, the skill level of the players in the Heavenly Domain were definitely higher on average than players in normal servers. Not only was it difficult to complete the challenge, if you didn't have any skill, the harsh environment in the Heavenly Domain was even more rage-inducing than the challenge. A major difference between the Heavenly Domain and the normal servers was that player killing didn't have any penalties whatsoever. Normal servers had red names. Even though the penalties weren't so bad, it was still a status that restricted players. In the Heavenly Domain though, there were no penalties for killing a player and the losses for dying were much more severe as well. Because of this, one could easily imagine how chaotic the environment was. In such chaos, if you were a noob, you'd definitely be bullied around all day. If you didn't hurry and improve, you'd be cut down every time you walked out. The harsh environment of the Heavenly Domain caused many noobs to grow quickly and violently. While Chen Guo was thinking about all of this, Yishu passed the 6th test. Chen Guo was just about to say something, when someone nearby cried, D*MN. Chen Guo turned her head and saw that there was someone standing behind her. His face held a look of astonishment as he stared dumbly at Yishu's screen. When Yishu turned his head, this person regained his composure, but his expression of shock couldn't be wiped away. He stared with wide eyes as he said, "Brother, is this the Heavenly Domain Challenge?" Yes, Yishu nodded his head. This couldn't be hidden. When the Heavenly Domain Challenge was being done, there was a clear sign on the interface. It was obvious at a glance. This is too amazing. How many tries did it take you? This person had clearly seen Yishu finish the 6th test in one breath. He thought that Yishu had experienced hundreds of failures before being able to clear it with such ease. Many times. I lost count, Yishu laughed. But it doesn't matter how many times it took you. It's still very amazing. What test are you? I don't think I saw a time limit. This person said. The 6th test. The 6th test. The 6th test. This person recalled, the 6th test. The 6th test doesn't have a time limit, does it? It doesn't. No time limit. This person froze again. The 6th test was a test without fighting, but it was a more comprehensive test. The test had different types of terrain and obstacles. It required the player to use different movements in order to pass through it. When normal players did it, they did it step by step, cautiously and slowly. But Yi Shu just passed it in a single breath without stopping. "Brother, what server are you in?" this person asked. 10th server. 10th server. The person said in shock, "It's only been 2 months since the 10th server. You're already level 70? Nope. I'm level 50. I'm just starting early." Yi Shu didn't dare say that he was going to complete the entire challenge at level 50. This brother's eyes kept on growing wider. If he got even more excited, Yi Shu was afraid his eyes would pop out. "Amazing," the person praised. "Ha ha," Yi Shu laughed. "Brother, are you going to try the next test?" This person was quite familiar with the quest chain and was able to guess what Yi Shu was planning on doing from his character's movements. "Yeah," Yi Shu said. "Do you mind if I watch?" The person was quite polite. "I don't mind." As a result, the person sat down where Tang Ru usually sat and watched Yi Shu play. The 7th test was a battle with a boss and a mob of monsters. After a minute, the person's jaw had dropped and couldn't close. What is that?" He was curious about the myriad manifestation umbrella. "Silver weapon," Yi Shu said. Silver. Silver. Silver weapon." After saying silver 2 times, he lowered his voice. He was quite considerate. If he had blurted out silver weapon, it would immediately gather a huge crowd. This had already happened once before. That time, many of the people in the crowd were 10th server players who had even added Lord Grimm as a friend. They could often be seen online too. These players obviously noticed Yi Shu's rise in the 10th server. Those who still came to Happy Internet Cafe would pay their respects if they saw that Yi Shu wasn't busy. Of course, these people didn't know of Yi Shu's true identity. They just thought he was a very good player. In addition, due to the nature of working as a manager, he had a lot of time to play, so it made sense. After all, those who played in the 10th server were just normal players, so they wouldn't think too much of it. As for those more experienced players, they had been astonished by the silver weapon, but it was only a level 5 silver weapon, so they didn't pay too much attention to it. Because they were in different servers, they didn't know of Lord Grimm's fame in the 10th server. It was true that those 10th server players knew of it, and despite being in the same internet cafe, they played on their own and didn't really interact with one another. As a result, Yi Shu was still left alone and didn't garner too much attention. This brother was more careful. He didn't blurt it out loud and gasped to himself. Besides the silver weapon, he had discovered something else during that 1 minute. "Brother, you haven't changed classes yet?" "Yeah, I haven't." "What's the reason for that?" This brother didn't understand. "Unspecialized. You haven't heard of it," Yi Shu said. "I know what an unspecialized is, but he clearly wasn't too experienced. He only understood that a character was unspecialized before level 20, but didn't know that long ago, unspecialized players were considered a class in glory. I'll level to 70 just like this," Yi Shu said. Chapter 414, Everyone blanked out. Yi Shu didn't stop with his progress as he chatted with the stranger, who never lifted his gaze from Yi Shu's screen. During the first minute, he was shocked by Yi Shu's character's weapon and class. During the second minute, he was astonished by Yi Shu's amazing battle skills and maneuvers. However, the stranger's expression didn't change much the second time. He was already as amazed as he thought he could possibly be. Who would have thought that the person in front of him would have even more in store for him? "Unbelievable, this is unbelievable," the stranger chanted under his breath while watching Yi Shu killing a horde of monsters as easily as cutting grass. He soon realized that Yi Shu's damage wasn't very good. However, this was rather normal considering that Lord Grimm was only level 50. It was clear proof of Yi Shu's terrifying skill. Soon, the battle ended. The stranger stared in awe at the piles of corpses littered all over the map and the full health bar of Yi Shu's character. His face almost twitched in extreme shock. "Incredible." He finally squeezed out a word of praise. But then the stranger immediately regretted it because the word came nowhere close to what he wished to say. Unfortunately, he couldn't find any other word to describe it. He found that not only could his face not express his awe accurately, but his vocabulary was the same as well. It was okay, Yi Shu responded, a bit slow though. Of course, you're only level 50, the stranger blurted out. Upon seeing Yi Shu leave the battleground, the stranger gathered up all of his courage and asked, "Brother, do you have time for a round in the arena?" Yi Shu was startled. "I'm from the 8th server. My character's name is Ascending." The stranger introduced himself. F*CK me, Yi Shu suddenly cried out, surprising both the stranger and Chen Guo. "What's wrong?" Ascending was terrified. Nothing. You go ahead and create a room. I'll be there soon," Yi Shu quickly answered. Ascending jumped up and ran back to his computer. "Are you okay?" Chen Guo was still surprised about Yi Shu's reaction just now. He was always calm and confident, so why did he suddenly curse a moment ago? Was Ascending someone very important? "I'm so stupid," Yi Shu murmured. "I thought so," Chen Guo snickered. Yi Shu cast a helpless glance at Chen Guo, who just found a rare opportunity to mock him. Then he continued, "I forgot that the arena is cross-server. Aren't I stupid for forgetting such a basic setup?" "What?" This time, Chen Guo was startled. Yi Shu shook his head, "And I was counting how many days it would take for the 10th server's players to reach level 50. Tisk, tisk, tisk. How come you never said anything?" Yi Shu asked Chen Guo. "I can be stupid too, can't I?" Chen Guo was a bit depressed. The arena being cross-server was basic knowledge among the players. In the end, the top-tier professional player forgot about. Chen Guo, an experienced player who had played the game for 5 years, also forgot about it. Su Mucheng apparently forgot as well. When the three of them were together during New Year's holiday to play the game, Yi Shu had mentioned this problem. In conclusion, Su Mucheng didn't see anything wrong and spent her time with Yi Shu and Chen Guo worrying stupidly. Did everyone just blank out? Chen Guo pondered. Yi Shu had definitely blanked out, that was obvious. But for she and Su Mucheng to blank out on the exact same issue simultaneously, that was a bit questionable. This was a very basic rule and there was absolutely no reason for all of them to have forgotten about it. Or could it have been because of something else? Such as an unwavering trust in Yi Shu from the both of them? Perhaps it was simply because he said it, the two girls believed it without a second thought. Perhaps it was because he was worried about the issue, so they went along with it and worried about it with him. They had only tried to think up a solution to the problem, but never bothered to check if the problem itself actually existed. Was this guy actually that reliable? Chen Guo was having a bad time believing that this listless guy would actually gain her trust. It's probably because of his identity. Chen Guo answered her own question weakly. On the other side, Yi Shu was already rushing to the arena. Then Ascending darted back, "Brother, I got the room. Fixed field, Arena 5. Room 4689. The password is Poiwi." Quote. Poiwi. What does that mean? Chen Guo was interested in the odd password. Ascending turned and glanced at Chen Guo. "Look at the keyboard." Chen Guo looked down. From the right upper corner to the left of the keyboard, the first few keys were Poiwi. Fixed field? That's unnecessary. Let's go to the regular arena. Yi Shu didn't pay any attention to the password, but he was unhappy about the mode. Ascending was stunned. Quest requirement. Yi Shu replied weakly. This wasn't a good explanation at all. A level 50 challenging a level 70 without being in the fixed field could easily be misunderstood as contempt against the opponent. Yi Shu had no disrespect whatsoever against Ascending. It was just that victories in the fixed field didn't count, so it would be useless for the Heavenly Domain challenge. Then again, Yi Shu didn't need this particular victory, so if Ascending insisted, Yi Shu would be fine with doing it in fixed field. Ascending didn't mind at all though. Wait a sec, he nodded and dashed back. In a moment, he got a new room in the regular arena and raced back to tell Yishu. After seeing Yishu's Lord Grimm enter the room successfully, Ascending sprinted back to his own computer to start the match. Ascending was a level 70 mechanic and seemed to be PvP veteran. He rushed forward purposefully the moment the match started. Yishu didn't hold back at all. He had refused a match in the fixed field. If he still held back, that would be truly disrespectful towards Ascending. As a result, Yishu attacked fiercely and decisively ended the match in 1 minute and 14 seconds. The match time was a bit longer than usual as expected. 20 levels of level suppression and 20 levels of equipment difference were all too real. Even if Yishu could guarantee that he hit Ascending with every attack, the actual damage would still be reduced significantly. Still, from a normal player's point of view, this was an extremely one-sided match. After the first hit from Yishu, Ascending never even got any chance to retaliate until his character died. Hey, was that necessary? Aren't you going a bit too harsh on him? Chen Guo couldn't stand to watch. I was worried that he would think I belittled him by refusing a match in the fixed field, so I thought I'd show him that I really am much better than he is, Yishu explained. Awesome. Just as Yishu finished his sentence, Ascending sent him a comment. Yishu's hands hovered over the keyboard. He wanted to reply, but couldn't find anything to say. The usual, "You're not half bad either," wouldn't work at all. Ascending lost this match so completely that Yishu could find nothing to praise him with. If Yishu were to applaud Ascending's skills, the courtesy would have been so overly untruthful that it would just sound like mockery. After a few moments of thought, Yishu settled on using a smiley face as a reply. "Shall we try again?" Ascending asked carefully. His diction changed this time. He used try after realizing that he might not even get the slightest chance to attack at all. Okay, Yishu agreed, and the two started a second round. Yishu already showed Ascending his true level of skills, so he went easy on Ascending. This time, Ascending lost at the 1 minute and 30 second mark. That was really awesome, Ascending messaged again. This time, he didn't lose as miserably as last time, but the match was still one-sided. It was okay, Yishu was rather modest. Sorry for the trouble, Ascending texted again. No more? Nah, I can't beat you. The difference between us is too great. I need a long time of practice to reach your level, Ascending explained. Good luck, Yishu ended the conversation, and both of them left the room. Yishu turned around and spoke to Chen Guo. See, a smart guy who actually knows the difference. The smart guy is back. Chen Guo saw Ascending running back when she lifted her head. If you don't mind, could I have your contact info? If there's another chance, I'd like to challenge you again, Ascending asked humbly. Are you in the heavenly domain? Yishu asked. Ah. I'll be there soon. We'll meet then, Yishu clarified. Oh, okay, Ascending nodded. He looked at Yishu and Chen Guo and added embarrassedly, excuse me, then he ran back to his own computer again. Heavenly domain, Yishu turned to look at Chen Guo. His clenched fists showed his determination. Yishu paid no attention to the little episode of Ascending. As a pro player, meeting another player was nothing special at all. He had gotten used to it a long time ago. Hurry up, Chen Guo answered. While I'm still here, I might as well get a few matches done. Yishu was still in the arena. He started to enter rooms randomly in search of a suitable match. The regular arena had two types, free field and level field. Because Lord Grimm and Ascending had a 20-level gap and it wasn't in the level field to cover such a huge level gap, Lord Grimm and Ascending finished their match in the free field. In the free field, levels didn't matter. However, Yishu couldn't pick on players whose level was lower than his. Thus, after changing the setting on the level limit for entering rooms, he started his conquest. A conquest without any resistance. Yishu's skills ensured that he could easily defeat any player, with or without the 20 levels of level gap. In the free field, high-level players were primarily picking on the low-level players. If a player really wanted a challenge, he or she would go to level limit type arena. In the end, tons of bullies lost miserably in front of Yishu. The 20 levels of difference in levels and equipments were virtually non-existent. If Glory wasn't known for its clean gaming environment, a lot of people would suspect that he was hacking. Still, there were still a large number of people who found this very suspicious. The biggest proof was that strange weapon. It was complete mystery to them. What kind of weapon would change its shape every other second? Would actually having the hack make one that dominant? While Yi Shu swept through the arena, his character's name showed up again and again on the official report forum. In the discussion forum for PvP, there were mentions of him everywhere. Lord Grimm's fame had finally spread outside of the 10th server and into the entirety of Glory. As for Yi Shu, he saw nothing but the waving hand of the heavenly domain as he counted his victories. Chapter 415, Sensation. After realizing that the issue of the arena part of the challenge wasn't actually an issue, Yi Shu spent the entire day playing in the arena. In the arena section of the official forums, many discussions were being held concerning Lord Grimm. More and more posts were created as the day went on, and quite a few posts were repeated throughout the day. At the same time, there were just as many reports being made in the report section of the forums. Lord Grimm was hacking. Quite a lot of players believed this was true due to three main reasons. 1. There was a 20-level difference in levels and equipment, yet he was still crushing his opponents like it was nothing. 2. The weapon in his hands could change forms. This was absolutely unprecedented. He definitely wasn't switching to different weapons either. 3rd, according to the players who were defeated by him, they had been comboed from start to finish. He was being even more precise than machines. Any one of the reasons above was enough to make a player doubtful, let alone Lord Grimm having all three. This was something Yi Shu didn't know about. He was only aware that getting into rooms was becoming easier and easier, so much so that people were now inviting him into their rooms. Moreover, the players who were crushed by him were quite stubborn. They would often have to be crushed 4 or 5 times before reluctantly giving up. Lord Grimm's fame exploded. The 10th server players were all excited seeing this. Very soon, several 10th server players, who had joined the discussion, listed out Lord Grimm's achievements in the 10th server. As a result, there were now more suspicious areas that Lord Grimm could be reported for. But soon afterwards, the response from the official company caused an even greater commotion from the players. In the report section, the officials directly released a stickied post telling everyone who reported Lord Grimm for hacking that after a careful investigation, Lord Grimm was not found to have violated any rules. The officials asked players to stop sending in further reports on Lord Grimm. A warning would be issued for the first offense. A temporary ban would be issued for the second offense. Glory's report department had a respectable reputation. 1 is 1. 2 is 2. They were trustworthy and fair. Their handling of Lord Grimm's reports conformed with their consistent style. This wasn't why the players were in such an uproar though. They were in an uproar because if the report department officially declared that there was no problem, then there really were no problems with Lord Grimm. This meant that Lord Grimm ignoring the 20-level gap and comboing everyone from start to finish was all skill. As for that unheard of weapon, if it was unheard of, then it was obviously a silver weapon. This guy actually had a silver weapon? Discussions concerning Lord Grimm began to spread. They were no longer limited to the arena. As long as it was a section in the forums, there would be posts on Lord Grimm. Yi Shu finally grew aware of this. There was one very obvious point that stood out: no matter where he went, the room would have spectators. More and more spectators joined each time. Several characters appeared over and over again. They were clearly following him. "You're popular," Chen Guo laughed. The two quickly thought of why there were so many spectators. Yi Shu had clearly become famous in the arena. It would be weird if he didn't become famous. Chen Guo muttered. She had watched on the side for a long time, and towards the end, she became numb towards the matches. Yi Shu wasn't fighting a match in the arena. He was practically hitting sandbags. Every time he fought, he would attack and then it would be over. After playing for the entire day, he hadn't lost a single time. No, using the word lose wouldn't be correct. He never experienced any sort of difficulty. As soon as Yi Shu attacked, the match would be over. "You're not tired?" Chen Guo even asked this type of question. In her eyes, playing each match so fiercely and precisely must be tiring. "Tired? Why would I be tired?" Yi Shu asked back. Fighting each match like that, Chen Guo said. She didn't know how to describe it. Oh, it's nothing. It's very relaxing, Yi Shu said. Chen Guo realized that in Yi Shu's eyes, these players weren't opponents, but ants. Those combos were the same as stepping on an ant. It was extremely easy for him, but the problem was that the ants couldn't fight back. As a result, the ants cried, "How strong! How scary!" The god lifted his foot up again and crushed the crying ant. Videos of the god crushing ants began to appear, one after the other. The players were all very excited. Such a prominent character hadn't appeared in Glory for a long time. Those who appeared were quickly noticed by the clubs and then pulled into the team to begin their career as pro players. Some of them were quickly washed out. Some worked hard to stand firm in the pro scene. Some became true top-tier players in Glory. And Lord Grimm? What would happen to him? There was no need to doubt his skill, right? All of the experienced players confirmed this when they watched the videos. He was able to easily crush high-leveled experts one after the other, even with a 20-level disparity. In addition, he even had his own self-made silver weapon. Any of those points would be enough to make clubs throw out their olive branches. Some people even began guessing which team Lord Grimm would join. Some people even began analyzing which team Lord Grimm would fit the best with. After studying his class, discovering that none of his opponents was lower level than him, and noticing that he had played in the arena for a full day, the players quickly concluded that he was doing the Heavenly Domain Challenge. He's a talent. The players all sighed. He'll quickly become a pro player, everyone thought. No one questioned that the player was already a pro player because no pro player had the free time to run to the game, do the Heavenly Domain Challenge, and bully a bunch of normal players all day. The day quickly passed. The next day came and players went to the websites for all the big teams to see if there was any news of Lord Grimm being scouted. However, there was no news. Afterwards, they went into all the big Glory forums and discovered that Lord Grimm was still an extremely hot topic. A few reporters even tried to interview him by finding him in-game, but none of them succeeded. All of the gossip was focused on Lord Grimm. Every time a gossiper spoke, Lord Grimm would always be mentioned. This was only the first day too. The second day, the third day, the fourth day. Day after day passed. Lord Grimm's path didn't change. Every day, people would chase after him in the arena to watch him fight. Some even took the initiative to go into battle. All of them ended in defeat. Being crushed by Lord Grimm became an event in Glory after the Spring Festival. Yi Shu obviously knew of this after so much activity in the past few days, but he didn't care. He just wanted to complete the Heavenly Domain Challenge. If people wanted to line up and fight him, then that was great. One day, Huang Xiaoshan's low-leveled account, Flowing Tree, logged into the game and cried a bunch. F***ck your sister. You're peeking with so many people, but you don't have time to fight one round with me. Huang Xiaoshan had asked to fight him several times, but the fight never happened. He resented it greatly. It's for a quest, Yi Shu replied. He didn't remember ever seeing Troubling Rain giving him an invite, but even if he had, Yi Shu definitely would have refused. Fighting with Huang Xiaoshan wouldn't be a 1 or 2 minute match and he might not even win either. It would simply be a waste of time. I'll wait until you get to the Heavenly Domain. You wait, Huang Xiaoshan said fiercely. Yi Shu replied with a cool face and then ignored him. The sudden appearance of a prominent character gave Glory players a lot to talk about. The atmosphere seemed to be even more lively than during the Spring Festival event. Some people even bought a 10th server account card and ran to the 10th server to personally watch. There were clearly many bored players. But there was one thing players couldn't understand. They were already clear on what Lord Grimm was capable of, so why hadn't any clubs invited Lord Grimm over? Every old veteran player had their own team they supported. Quite a few even began contacting the clubs recommending him. The clubs didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The clubs weren't as stupid and slow as the players thought. Early in the first day, they had all received reports. The club system had a system similar to those in basketball and football. There were scouts, whether they were part-time or full-time, that went to dig out potential talents. Now that there was a talent that just directly appeared in front of them, not seeing him would be too stupid. It could be said that on the first day, every club had received several reports on Lord Grimm. A club had a managing department, a team, a guild, an equipment research department, scouts. They were split into many departments. Information among them could be shared or withheld. Lord Grimm was Yi Chu. Most of the guilds knew. The teams also knew. But the other departments might not know of this. But in any case, once things got to this stage, with Lord Grimm being pushed in front of the clubs, this information was quickly shared to every department. The secret that Lord Grimm was Yi Chu quickly became known to everyone in the club. As a result, the clubs had to give up on chasing after him. If he was Yi Chu, then there was different concern. While the players were just having fun with this gossip, the clubs had to think of their interests and began seriously pondering over Yi Chu's abrupt fame in the game. With rumors of Yi Chu creating a team, the clubs all had a tacit mutual understanding not to let out the news that Lord Grimm was Yi Chu. If the news leaked, it would be hard to say how many eyes would be enamored, how many would be looking forward to it, how many follow along. For the clubs, not stirring up trouble for Yi Chu was already quite nice of them. They didn't have any reason to help Yi Chu come back though. Just how much can he do by himself? The clubs didn't dare look down on Yi Chu, but they didn't think he could do much alone. This sort of online sensation in-game could be achieved by any pro player. After all, pros were in a completely different world than normal players. Yi Chu might be building up momentum through this sensation. They couldn't stop him, but they weren't going to help him. This was what the clubs all thought.